But anyway, let's go.
Yeah, of course. You're the smartest and the most.
Of course, let's go.
We forget. So the next thing is Trump. And Trump is obviously in the news all the time, especially now. But right now, it seems like these comments seem like they're going to either really help him with his base or hurt him nationally speaking. And that is, he basically wants to create a registry for all Muslims if he becomes president. And the next thing he wants to do is stop all the Muslims from coming into the United States. So basically, if you're a Muslim, that's it.
Yeah.
So what do you think of all this? Do you think he's on the right track, or do you think he's, he's hurting himself by doing this?
Well, I think he's definitely going to hurt himself. Like I said, any day now, something's going to happen, and he's going to, be ousted of the presidential.
But let me ask you. Okay. You know what? I've actually heard that before. I've heard it on the news. I've heard it on the net. I've heard that many times. And to be honest with you, I even probably thought that for a bit as well. But my question is, he has said a lot of absurd things. I mean, I'm not really referring to this, but I'm talking about just in general. He said a lot of things that most candidates would be already out, by far. Now, my question is, what can he possibly say? Literally, this is a legit question. What can he possibly say for people to go, whoa? I'm really asking. What can he say?
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily what he can say. I think it's more as to what they're going to dig up on him, or he's going to run out of money.
Again, yeah. I've heard both of those things. They're gonna find something on him, or they're gonna dig up. So what is that thing that can they find? If you're saying they're gonna find something on him, what is it
simply a sex scandal. It's always a sex scandal. He's
been married a bunch of times.
That's fine.
He's been with.
He had an affair. He had an affair with this other supermodel.
And you think that would be enough to?
Yeah. That's enough. That's enough to get you out of the racing.
No, for him. We're not talking about regular candidate. Yes. If it was
remember, he has a conservative base. So if
the conservative base are able to, he's with a woman right now. What I think this is his third or fourth or fifth wife.
Yeah, she's like Czech or something.
Right,
like
exactly.
That.
She's not American. They know that, So this would be the first, if he would win, for example. So she would be the first non-American, first lady.
He's not going to win.
Okay, I understand that's your opinion, but what I'm saying is, if they're accepting that now, you're saying that if they found out that he had a scandal, or not a scandal, if he had a mistress or something like that,
whenever there's a scandal that comes out up against the politician,
in most candidates, but would you consider him like a regular candidate? Would you compare him to?
No, he's not a regular candidate.
I don't know. When Clinton was running, anyone?
Like I said, and people have said, and they're absolutely correct. He's a clown. He definitely isn't running for the president of the United States.
I'm not. Hold on. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about specifically. You said, and a lot of other people said this as well, that there is something that he could either say or something that they could dig up on him that could potentially throw, like you're saying, it's gonna oust him out of the race. My question is, what can that possibly be?
A sex scandal.
No, but
clearly, it's either going to be a sex scandal or he ran out of money. But I think it's going to be a sex scandal. That's just my opinion. A sex scandal. He was caught, showing his dick to a little girl or to a 60-year-old woman. I don't know. I mean, it could be also that
you're really talking
like
about
a sex tape
or something like that.
I know. I'm just joking around the pedophilia, but pretty much maybe there's like a sex tape that comes out or pictures of him kissing another woman.
You think that a picture of him kissing another woman would somehow derail his campaign?
Yeah, of course,
really?
Of course. Yeah.
You think his campaign is because of what I'm saying is that he's said so many crazy things. He's done so many crazy things. The idea that somehow kissing another woman is going to be like, oh, well, you know what? She's Czech and she could be the first lady, and now you kissed another woman. Ooh, that's going to.
He's a cheater, so therefore.
I remember Newt Gingrich had no problem when he was running. That wasn't a thing for him.
This is my opinion. All I'm trying to get at is he's a cheater. He can't be trusted. You know, the same thing with Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. We should impeach him because he lied.
Exactly, but you know what I mean. But even then, the people would still re-elect Bill Clinton at that point.
Now, listen. Like, I don't necessarily agree with that. It doesn't matter what he does in his own private time.
Right, but we're talking about his electability.
That's what he's electable.
And what I'm saying is, right now,
he's a joke.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine if you believe that. But I'm saying he said so many absurd things already that I don't know if there's
because he knows he's not going to be elected.
It really has to be that pedophilia thing that you're talking about.
Maybe.
I could see that,
yeah.
But I can't see him if he's like having an affair with a woman that would derail his campaign. It has to be. It really has to be something completely illegal, and it has to be something that,
I mean, yet again, it could be his health, it could be a sex scandal, it could be that he ran out of money, it could be that he wants to go back and pose for Playboy or Playgirl or whatever. You know, he wants to take on a new career, whatever it is, whatever it's going to be. He's definitely not going to be the Republican candidate for the presidency. 100%, 150%. I'll put all my money that he's not going to be.
But you're saying that specifically because you just don't think he's legitimate.
He's not a real presidential candidate, in my opinion. I think he's been put out there onto the public light to just, you know, distract people, to entertain people. And honestly, it works for him because his brand goes up, because there are a lot of stupid conservative people in the South that think, we just kill the Muslims, kill them. You know, that's all it is. Just kill those fuckers. That's all we need to do. Kill them, register them, fuck Islam. And you know what? Honestly, I'm with them on certain things, but
funny, you just call them idiots, and then you're going, okay.
Well, on certain things I agree, but what I'm trying to get at is it's just black and white for them. It's just, you know, those brown people in the Middle East, they're causing the problems. But when you have to actually be more objective and see what is the core problem, is it really the people that are hiding in the sand, or is it the people that have the technology and you know, the funds to actually go to those places and excavate and to take advantage of those people? So I mean, you know, you can look at it you can look at it in any way you like. But in my opinion, Donald Trump is just another show. It's just another show on TV, and everyone's benefiting from it. And it's going to continue until it's going to collapse. That's just the way I see it.
Okay, I am not one of those people who 100% knows. Unlike you, I don't exactly know whether Donald Trump is going to win or not, or, you know, like, you're 100% like, this is exactly how it's going to be.
150%.
Right, exactly. And if you're wrong, what happens then?
Well, I'm not going to be wrong, but if I am wrong, then I'm wrong.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
It's just a simple, right? So to me, it's a simple of like, hey, there's a fight coming up between McGregor and Aldo, and I could say I'm 100% sure Aldo's going to win, 150% sure, and if he doesn't, I'll be like, well, I was wrong.
Well, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say I'm 150% sure that someone's going to win a fight that is more close, but I get your point. Yeah, it makes sense.
So okay. So, but let's get back to the original point about his current statements in regards to the registry and in regards to the Muslims not coming into the United States. Specifically on those, do you think he's on the right track with this, or do you think he's? You know,
I think we need to register the terrorists. If you
terrorists in other countries or terrorists here?
Terrorists around the world and terrorists, especially in the United States. if the FBI has deemed them to be a threat to national security.
But you don't think they're already doing that then?
Well, if they are, they're not telling us.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure they're doing something. Who knows what they're doing?
But the thing is, okay, so let me ask you this. For example, if the FBI suspects, let's say they caught some communication or something weird about, like, you know, some couple
plot to blow up something or shoot up something.
Not necessarily that. They're like there's, you know, like there's something, their communication was with somebody else in some other part, and it's like they don't know exactly the whole story. Should at that point their names and pictures be available for anyone to see?
No.
Okay, so what point should, for example, if FBI has suspects and you're saying that we should know about them, at what point should we know about them?
At a point when you're sure that they're going to commit the crime.
But if they're sure, why don't they just get them? If they're sure,
get them. What I'm saying is,
I mean, if they just release, hey, these are guys. I mean, why don't they either?
They don't necessarily have to release their pictures and names once they find out. But put them on the list. I'm saying put them on the list. I'm not saying it has to be public right then and there, but put them on. But put them on the list. For example,
but they might have it.
Okay. What I'm trying to get is put them on the list today. Right. Today is December 10th. Right. So we put them on the list today, and later on, let's say they captured them tomorrow, on the 11th. Okay, so then we know once they release the list that yes, they've been on the list since the 10th, and they got captured on the 11th.
Right, but wouldn't people not even believe the list if it comes up after?
I mean, I see what you're saying.
The list would be kind of pointless. Like,
right.
Oh well, they're on there. So.
You know, I'm just saying I'd rather have them do that than have them put somebody on the list after they capture. We don't know.
You know,
anyway, what I'm trying to get at simply is to put the terrorists on a list.
But not all Muslims. Though.
Well, why would you put all Muslims on the list? No,
I'm asking you.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
What he's talking about, to have a registry of Muslims. And his point is basically to keep track of them.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. It's the same as what happened in the internment camps in the United States with the Japanese. I mean, that is just ridiculous to put generations of people that are Americans who are of Japanese ancestry into internment camps. So supposedly they will not commit bonsai, whatever it's called.
Right. Basically murder themselves. What would you... Okay. Do you think at any point, actually, that it might happen in the United States, we might do something like that again with the Muslims this time?
Of course. I mean, it could happen with any group.
We're specifically talking about Muslims.
Right now it could be Muslims, and then maybe in 2-3 years, it'll be Russians. If there's a war with Russia, all of a sudden, let's put the Russians who are Americans into camps.
So you're saying the United States didn't learn its lesson with the Japanese?
But the United States is corrupt, so yes, absolutely, there is no lesson. If the same people are running the government, then there is no lesson learned. So 100%, they can do it again. And the same thing with selective service. They said after Vietnam, no more selective service. But in order for you to obtain financial aid, you have to check off that you're going to be enrolled into selective service. I mean, so the answer is no, they haven't learned the lesson. They're not going to learn the lesson. And in my opinion, it's definitely going to happen again. And then we have a traitor who is supposedly our friend, Donald Trump, who wants to register innocent people and put them into a registry, a database, and monitor them. Mm-hmm. I mean, that is anti-human. Literally, that's anti-human.
Okay.
You know, that's ridiculous. Okay, he should be monitored.
So then the second part of what you're saying, which is not let any Muslims in. So
I absolutely agree. And not necessarily only based on their religion, but also based on the fact that the United States doesn't even help their war veterans out. We have people who don't have money on the streets right now who are begging for money and food, and we don't want to help them. But let's import Muslims and potential ISIS members into the United States so that we can help them. But the people that have fought for our country and for our freedoms are out on the streets with no job, with no food, with no money. But we're not going to help them.
Wait. Go back. You're talking about specifically if they come to live here, but he's talking about completely all Muslims. He's like meaning like if they have a visa to just visit their family, if they have a visa for work or something like that. That's like he's talking about all Muslims, not the ones that are coming to live here necessarily, but the ones that are coming here for any other reason, for just visiting for vacation or whatever the case is. That's what he's talking about. So meaning any of our quote unquote allies, from countries that we're not at war with, the Muslim countries that we're not at war with, they can't travel.
I mean, I can attest to that. I would agree with that notion.
It just seems a little weird that you're okay with this, but you're completely against the registry.
I'm completely against the registry
because you are saying, well, there's going to be a lot of innocent people that you're going to be tracking.
It's fascism.
But at the same time, you're saying
no, because
you're not letting all Muslims in.
It's fascism to register people that have already lived in the United States.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what name you give that. My point is, it seems like you're okay with one aspect, which is not to let any Muslims in most of them who are not going to be, terrorists, most of them who are not going to do any harm, most of them who are just visiting their family.
That could be the case.
Right. So you're okay with not letting them in, but the ones that are here, you're kind of like, well, you know what? It's unfair if they're innocent. You shouldn't do that to them. So I'm a little confused as to
there's
why,
a difference.
Why
there's a huge difference. There's a huge because they're already here. So what you're saying?
What if they came here 2 years ago?
It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is,
as long as they came here 2 years ago, it's fine. It's like what they pass a.
If they're already here, they're already here. What I'm trying to get at is we should not allow for any more people to immigrate from any other country. Period. At the moment. And especially from Islamic countries, especially.
Okay. Well, see,
right?
you're kind of changes your point from, the Islam, like basically religious or people from certain areas or whatever, and now you're basically saying we should completely stop immigration.
Absolutely, completely,
but I'm
completely
saying
stop immigration.
It seems like you kind of changed your.
No, but I'm trying to explain to you where I'm coming from.
Well, you could have simply said, I think all immigration should be stopped, and
that's fine.
Your point, but you didn't. You specifically
because you were asking me specifically about people from Islamic countries.
I agree with them on that, and all of them should be like.
But what do you think? I gave you my opinion.
What do I think about which one, the first or second?
Or both.
First, I'm in agreement with you about the registry. I don't think to try to, look after every Muslim, specifically United States, is. I don't think it's even possible. First of all, I think the idea that is pretty ridiculous. The whole thing about Muslims coming into the United States, I'm of two minds on that. Personally, I think from one end, I'm like, well, there's a lot of Muslims who are innocent, who don't have any problems. But at the same time, how many of them are radicalized, and how many of them would do any kind of harm? And that I do not know. So
but then the question is, why are we helping them exclusively? That's the question.
Who? What are you talking about?
Why are we helping Syrians exclusively? I mean, there's wars in Africa. Why are we taking them?
I don't know why where you got.
No,
Syria.
I'm just saying. But why would you, for example, let these people in? No, I'm asking you. I'm just asking.
I'm a little confused as to why we started talking about Syrians all of a sudden. We're talking about just Muslims across the board.
Muslims, fine. Why would you let Muslims from abroad into the United States? What would be the reason?
It's not okay. First of all, I'm not really the judge of who decides this, but it's not really like like you have to give a reason. It's the same reason as you would let anyone from Europe or any other part of the world come into the United States. It's because whether it's a job, they get a visa, whether it's see their family that lives here, whether it's for vacation, and a lot of people make.
I'm talking about permanent residents. I'm not talking about temporary. I'm really more talking about them coming here and building a family and a life.
Okay, well that's way more specific.
More specific, yeah.
That's way more specific. Because again, this is not what Trump was talking about.
I'm not sure what he was implying.
No, I already told you. No,
well, okay.
Remember, he's not a person who says something once and goes, that's it. And no, he clarifies himself afterwards, and he usually doubles down on whatever thing you thought was, whoa, that's weird that you actually said that, for him to afterwards go, yeah, you know what, yeah. So okay, so your question is, why should we let somebody move here if they're Muslim?
Yes.
The arguments could be whether, again, it's family. If let's say they, huh?
Why would you want for them to come and live here?
That's a loaded question.
Or
so
would
why,
you?
Why would I want
or
them?
Would you?
I wouldn't want, I'm not wanting. I don't care if you come or not. The wanting. Maybe you're asking that question incorrectly. But I don't.
What would be the reason, in your opinion, to allow for these Muslims to immigrate to the United States? Let's put it that way.
Family. That would be the only reason.
Only if they have family here?
Yes. They have to have family here that has lived here for a very long time.
That makes more sense to me. But the thing is that why are we helping out people to come live here when we're not helping people that already live here? There are a lot of people that are homeless, and
we don't have a perfect system, to say the least. It's something that we always ask when the government spends money on things that we don't need, whether it's more defense for things that we don't need, more just more on things, and we're always pointing to, wait a second, why don't you help the people that that got hurt here? Why don't you help the people that served here? Why don't you help these people who are struggling?
But shouldn't the government be for the people, by the people? It doesn't seem like it's acting that way. Pretty much that's what you're saying. Why is the government doing this? Why isn't the government doing that? It's real. So that's really not.
Again.
It's really not by the people. Because if it was by the people, then we wouldn't have homeless people.
It's the problem of us having a government. We have a government, but the thing is, with every single year when we have people with influence, most likely corporations, who change laws, because again, when the country was set up, we're set up in the right ways. But the problem is that when you put influencers on sides going, hey, you know what, if you change this law, or if you add this law that allows me to do this and allows me to do that, and every single year that's literally what happens. We change our laws to constantly help out usually the really rich, and we hurt the little guys. And that's why, and it's like, oh, you want that done for you? You want the homeless people? You want a shelter over here? Oh, well, we don't have the money for that. Oh, this guy, we needed to help him. He makes billions of dollars. He doesn't have to pay any taxes. Come on. Do we really want to lose this job creator to somebody else? No, we need to have him stay here.
So then, what I said pretty much is the status quo, that our government pretty much employs the interests of corporations and not the people. That's how it's being run.
Okay. Let's not go into a point where this is a 100% one way and not the other. It's not. It definitely has influence, but I want to say right now, if I had to give a percentage, probably, and I'm actually trying to think, probably say right now 60-40, and I don't really know which way.
I think it's. Well, you don't know which way?
Yeah, I don't know which way.
That's probably 70-30, and it's 70 towards corporations.
Well, probably. You're acting like, like, okay, probably. That's the key word there. And the thing is, again, there's definitely a lot of influence there. But to say that people don't have any influence is also being really wrong about that. People have influence. The problem is that
people with money have influence.
Right. But also people who don't have money. The problem with people that don't have money is it's hard for them to get together and actually have a focus. Because if people actually got together and made a focus on things like, hey, I remember the last time when people actually got together and they really okay, you know what, for what was it, for cable companies that were going to charge for the internet, where they were basically like they're going to give you a lower speed if you were going to a certain website, and give you a faster speed if
throttle. They were going to throttle.
Right, exactly. They were going to throttle the websites and stuff like that. People were really upset about that, and that's when you saw people online and people actually in person, they actually went out and they made a change. People were like, whoa, wait. We didn't think this was going to be that big. We thought that we just help out these cable companies because they're struggling.
Now, if we could only get people to come out to the real serious issues, we could make a big change.
Right. But then we also have to consider, it's not like we have to get together. We can't necessarily wait for somebody else to do it for us. We can't.
Because your voices are being ignored, and as an individual, the only thing you can do is rally people and try to get them to go along with what is right, and instead of what is the status quo. But I don't know. I just feel like Donald Trump is taking things too seriously. I think that
taking things too seriously.
Well, he's taken it to the maximum. I also heard him talking about how the internet is too free, and people post their opinions about the news, and we should not allow for people to do that. And it was ridiculous. It's so funny that he is for certain things that people agree with, but then in other things he is this radical fascist. If you haven't heard this before, Donald Trump is a fascist.
I think fascist is
the definition of what he's proposing. I think fascism, pure fascism.
I've heard everyone be considered a fascist. I've heard Bush, Obama, Trump, literally everyone who's ever run for president.
All the above. You're absolutely right. They are fascist. Okay, well, come on.
Like literally, like when people don't like somebody, that it seems like fascists are literally.
If you put somebody on the list that hasn't committed a crime and you want to monitor them, that is not fascism. Is that what you're saying to me?
They also did that, in World War II.
He wants to restrict people and not allow for them to give their opinions on the most freest place on earth.
I believe what you're saying is true, but I'm saying I haven't heard him say that, so I can't.
He did say it, and I heard him say it. That's fascism.
I can't really.
Well, no, I know you can't. No. I know you can't, but I'm telling you what I heard.
But you actually heard him say that? It wasn't.
I heard him.
Source,
no,
right?
I heard him directly on Fox News giving a speech that people should not have freedom to express their opinions.
You're not changing.
On
you're not
the internet.
His words at all.
No,
this is exactly what he said.
He said, to that degree, people should not be allowed to express their opinions online, because it causes confusion.
Okay.
And all you can check it out by yourself. That's fascism. Okay, so if you want to vote for a fascist, go ahead, vote for Donald Trump.
Based on what you're saying, any vote you basically do will be for fascist.
Pretty much.
It doesn't matter if it's Trump. It doesn't matter who it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So I don't stand with him on that. I don't think we live in a fascist country just yet. But I mean, I'm pretty sure you do believe that already.
Yep.
So okay. All right. You know what? Let's move on from fascists and the leader of them, Mr. Trump. Let's move on to the sad or happy news about. Depending on where you are.
I'm very happy about this.
Okay, Kobe Bryant is retiring. But before we go into it, before we actually go into that, let's make something clear so that you know where we're coming from. I've been a Laker since I was a kid. I've been a Laker fan, I should say, since I was a kid. Vadim has absolutely hated the Lakers. Anything that is around them, close to them, related to them, he hated them. Since Kobe was the leader for a while now of the Lakers, he hates them like to a really high level. So you're kind of getting two sides of the coin here. So you just please understand where we're coming from on this. So all right, so I'll give you the first thing. What do you think of his